What's going on, you guys? It is Derek from mancaveretreat.com. So today I'm going to be talking about a pretty big topic. This video might go a little bit longer than normal, but that's okay because it's an important one. I'm going to be talking about the differences between a projector and a TV and which is the better choice for your man cave. By the end of this video, you should have a good idea of, what's the difference between a TV and a projector, what are the different technologies, what's the viewing experience difference between the two, and which is right for you. So to start, there is no one answer when deciding which is better. It depends. If I were to be answering this question 5 years ago, it'd probably be pretty obvious that TVs are better. But there's been a lot of advancements in technology recently, so the gap is actually a lot closer than I first thought. When I was building my man cave, I didn't give projectors the time of day. After doing this research, I really wish I would have. So first, let's kind of talk about the different types of technology. So for TVs, LED is king. There's QLED, which is quantum light emitting diode. And this one is the cheaper alternative, cheaper to produce. And it's brighter, and it's more efficient. OLED is organic light emitting diode, and these ones are more expensive, but they are better for your eyes. They don't emit as much blue light, so if you are planning on watching a lot of TV, you might want to consider this one, OLED TVs. So for projectors, so you've probably heard of those for TVs, but projectors are a little bit more off the beaten path. So with the two types of technology I'm going to talk about are DLP and LCD. DLP technology for projectors, I need to look at it so I get it right, is digital light processing. Digital light processing technology is considered the higher end of projectors. If you go to the movie theater, they're probably using a DLP projector. In the middle of the road is kind of the LCD technology, liquid crystal display, just kind of shoots the light out. Like I said, this is in the middle of the road. Epson is the big brand for this type of technology. For DLP, it's more of Sony. So those are the two different types of technology. The choice is yours, which way you want to go. There's a little bit of price difference in between them. But so what we are really here for is what's the viewing experience like? So before I start, I do want to say that the age-old question, does size matter? For viewing experience, yes, size matters. With TVs and projectors, something that's thrown around all the time is 4K Ultra HD. If you have a 55-inch TV and you have 4K Ultra HD, it's not really worth it. Our eyes can only take in so much data, and the amount of data they take in is based off of how much field of your vision is being used up. So with smaller screens, we're taking in less data, so the 4K Ultra HD doesn't really matter. It's kind of like, I like to think of it as frames per second. Something could be 200 frames per second and be super freaking expensive, but at the end of the day, our eyes might not be able to make up the difference. So it's something to consider. So a lot of people will say, if you want to experience true 4K Ultra HD, a projector is the only way to do it with that 120 inch screen. A TV right now, from what I can find, the biggest TV you can get is an 85-inch TV. And projectors can go anywhere from, they can project a screen that is like 60 inches all the way up to movie theater size. But for home theater, usually they go up to like 120 inch diagonal screen. So food for thought. But there are a few other things to consider when looking at the viewing experience of a projector versus a TV. So viewing angle is something that gets thrown around a lot with TVs. So basically what viewing angle is, if you are looking at a TV straight on, it's a zero degree view angle because you're looking straight onto it. But if straight on is right here and then you're sitting to the side, your view angle is going to change. So it's how far off of it, out of the center of the TV's range are you sitting? So the lowest for TVs is 15 degrees, but probably about the average is 25 degrees. So you need to be sitting pretty well center mass of the TV to be able to still see all the color, all the picture, how it's meant to be seen. So that's going to affect how you set up your room a little bit, your man cave a little bit. Projectors are a much different story. Projectors, the range is kind of 30 degrees to 45 degrees, plus or minus, view angle. So, and it's a bigger screen as well. So your room is going to be able to, you're going to be able to spread out a lot more seating. So if you are planning on having a lot of people over, maybe a projector is the best thing for you to do because it's easier to seat things. So that's the view angle. The other important thing to think about is viewing distance. How far away from the screen are you sitting? So take this with a grain of salt. So the equation that gets thrown around for TVs is 2.75 inches times the diagonal measurement. So for an 85-inch TV, you multiply that by 2.75, you need to be sitting, let me get it right, 19 and a half feet back from that screen. Think about that for a little bit. I don't think there aren't many rooms that are that big. But again, take it for a grain of salt. For projectors, the equation that you use is 0.84 times the diagonal length. So for a 120-inch screen, so that's probably the size I would go with. It's probably about as big as is comfortable inside. You're going to be looking at 8.5 feet instead. So much more manageable. And that has to do with how much the field of your vision it's taking up, how it's designed to, the brightness of it, all that good stuff. So all that takes into account. So it's really hard if you have an 85-inch TV to be sitting at a good distance away from it. So keep that in mind. The other thing that you need to consider with projectors is the throw ratio, and that is different for each. That's different for each projector, but basically it's how far back the projector needs to be to throw out the screen dimensions you want. So usually it's a 2-to-1 ratio, so you need to move the projector back 2 inches for every inch of screen, something like that. So just food for thought. So that is the different ways, the different things that go into viewing experience. But the setup is another thing that is kind of sets these two things apart. There's a lot of setup that needs to go in for a projector. You need to mount the projector on your ceiling. You need to get the screen, and then you also need to get an input source, so probably HDMI cable on a laptop or something like that, or you could hook up a box to it or a gaming system. But then you're also going to need some type of sound system, because some people say that it should be obvious, but not for all people. A projector doesn't come with a sound system. So if you don't have one, you're gonna want to be getting one. So that will kind of add to the cost. So there's that. With a TV, really all you need to do is just mount it on the wall. You need to buy a wall mount, especially if you're talking 85 inches. You're gonna want to put that thing on a wall. That can be $100 or whatever, but it's not too bad. So those are kind of the different things you need to consider when buying them. So to kind of lay it all out there for you, the pros of having a TV are the familiarity, the ease of setting it up. You can watch it when the lights are on, and it's kind of a more familiar thing, less maintenance to it. For a projector, it's easier on the eyes. It is a better viewing experience all around, especially if you hook up an awesome sound system. You really can't beat it. And there are also some great gaming options too, to hook up like a gaming computer or even just like a PS4 and Xbox to it. Also, the viewing angle allows for you to set up your room however you want. So that's another thing to consider. The cons of a TV, when you start talking 85 inch TV, they can be pretty expensive. So a pro to projectors is there are some awesome budget options out there that will get the job done for, a total of like $700. And you can't really get that with the TV. So that's something to really consider. So cons for a TV, the bright screen will hurt your eyes unless you go with OLED. The other thing, when you're talking a big TV, you're ideally going to need to sit further back to get the best viewing experience. And for some rooms, that's just not going to happen. If you want that bigger screen, good luck. You're not going to be able to. You're going to be sitting pretty close to it, which means it'll put strain on your eyes. The cons for a projector, I don't want to say it's a con, but it's going to change how you act in your room. You are going to be leaving the blinds closed more often. You're going to be terrified of walking in front of the screen so other people don't yell at you or tell you to duck down. Little things like that. It puts more attention needs to be put on the room design when using a projector. More things go into it. Make sure I don't forget anything. The other big con of a projector is the setup. There's a lot of setup that goes to it. There are also a lot of different things you need to buy other than just the projector. It's not a self-contained unit like a TV is, just the way it is. So at the end of the day, it's up to you to choose which is best for you. Do you want the ease of a TV, or do you want the experience of a projector? For me, when I first built my man cave, I went with a TV. After doing this research, I really wish I would have known, because I probably would have gone with a projector, especially since there are some fairly cheap options to get started. And then if you decide that's where you want to go, you can upgrade and go to, you can get pretty close with the digital light processing projectors. You can get really close to movie theater quality. Something to consider. So guys, that's all I have. I hope this was useful. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them in the comments. I'd love it if you would subscribe. I'm trying to get this channel going. If you are interested in this content or this planning stuff, either check out some of the other videos on the channel or check out mancaveretreat.com, where I have a bunch of articles I've written talking about just exclusively man caves and the planning process and all the things you should be considering. So my name is Derek from mancaveretreat.com. Until next time.